On the news tonight, President Buhari hands over transition documents to Tinubu ahead of May 29 inauguration. DSS uncovers plans to disrupt May 29 handover ceremony. And Kano government exonerates Doguwa of murder charges. Hello and welcome to News Now on TV 360 Nigeria. I am Folashade Ogurinde. President Muhammadu Buhari has expressed confidence in the ability of the president-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu to lead Nigeria. Buhari made this noon at the conferment of national awards on the president-elect and vice president-elect Kashim Shettima. According to him, Tinubu is someone committed to the unity of the country and has in the past shown such qualities. For more details in this report. In line with a series of events scheduled for the May 29 inauguration, President Muhammadu Buhari has conferred national honors on President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his Vice President-elect Kashim Shettima. While Tinubu was conferred with the national honors of Grand Commander of the Federal Republic, Shettima was honored with the title of Grand Commander of the Order of the Niger. Following the investiture, President Buhari handed over transition documents as well as the baton of service to the President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The files, which contain 3 key documents, consist of briefing notes on each of the 9 priority areas covering key sectors. Speaking shortly after receiving the transition documents, Tinubu paid tribute to the outgoing president and reiterated his belief in democracy.
The people have put their trust in us. You have done your part, Mr. President. Now, a great duty will descend on me. I understand the meaning of the honor given to me today and the magnitude of the tax that awaits. As enumerated on security, economy, agriculture, jobs, education, health and power, and in all sectors, we must make headway as you've charted the course. The people deserve no less. You said so. I shall not disappoint you.
On his part, President Buhari reminded Tinubu and Shettima that the nation faces a lot of challenges and urged them to be compassionate and exhibit transparency when they take over next Monday.
We must remain committed to the principles of good governance, transparency, and accountability, as these are the foundations upon which our nation's progress and development rely. President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you have a long and illustrious track record of public service, marked by your exceptional achievements in various capacities. Your transformative leadership in Lagos State, where you left an indelible mark in the areas of infrastructure, education, healthcare, and economic development, speak volumes about your dedication to the welfare of the Nigerian people.
This is the first in a series of events leading to the May 29 inauguration, which was driven under the Executive Order 14 signed by President Muhammadu Buhari. Folashade Ogurinde, TV 360 News. The Department of State Services (DSS) says it is aware of plans by subversive elements to disrupt the inauguration of the next president and governors on May 29 across the country. Spokesman of the service, Peter Afinaya, in a statement on Thursday, said the aim is to undermine security agencies' efforts at ensuring peaceful ceremonies, as well as creating panic and fear among members of the public. The service advised Nigerians to adhere strictly to security and civil protocols during the events. Afunai added that authorities, that unauthorized and accredited persons are warned to stay away from restricted and certain designated areas at the event venues. Kano State Ministry of Justice has exonerated House Leader Alhassan Adedogua from charges of culpable homicide and mischief by fire leveled against him. The Attorney General and Commissioner of Justice Musa Abdullahi Lawan made a snell-while briefing journalists in Kano on Thursday. He explained that based on the facts and observations, the Justice Department cannot substantiate charges of criminal conspiracy, mischief by fire and culpable homicide against Dogua. According to him, the 8 to 12 suspect arrested will be charged with mischief by fire under Section 336 of the Penal Code. The Nigerian Army has identified cognitive skills as a major strategy for enhancing proficiency in confronting and managing operational challenges, both at the tactical and operational levels of warfare. To this end, it has begun a 3-day leadership development seminar for officers in the rank bracket of Lieutenant Colonel to Colonel and its equivalent. Declaring the first edition of the seminar open, the Commandant, Nigerian Army School of Signals, Major General Nusakere Ubo, said the training is aimed at equipping the officers with requisite knowledge on how to effectively manage and utilize man and material resources.
What we are doing is training leaders that will lead troops in combat. And like we have said during the opening ceremony, every leader has a role to play in addressing problems, challenges. And this seminar, which is on leadership, and like you have said, the theme is on cognitive skills. The leader should be capable of thinking through and very thoroughly to arrive at decisions that will impact positively on the outcome of the actions we take in combat. And we believe that once this crop of officers are trained and they are deployed, you start seeing the positive impact it will have on all our operations across the length and breadth of the country and indeed outside of the country.
Let's now head back to the story on insecurity concerns raised by the DSS. And joining me to speak more on this is security expert Salahuddin Kashim. Thank you very much for joining us. Now, it's not unusual for security agencies to, brief up on intelligence days to a significant event such as the May 29 inauguration. How worried should we be, really?
Important to put very clearly on the table that there has been quite a number of malicious and informations out there that are making an attempt to mislead their individuals, and it is something that we should, as stakeholders, first of all negate. But of course, in terms of being worried, yes, we should, and that is because you know too well the entire trajectory that led us to where we currently are, and of course, just in a few days, there's going to be a new administration, and this is an administration that is perceived not to be very popular amongst people. A number of people have actually adduced that it is actually a process that was actually flawed. So that in itself has a tendency of actually inciting and igniting some level of resistance. One thing that is very certain is that there will be a lot of coordinated effort by some aggrieved politicians, if you like me, to use that word, attempting to tell the international community, knowing fully well that the country will have a spotlight on it, and there will be a lot of dignitaries, motorcades, roadblocks. So there will be a lot of decent behavior that might likely happen. So I'm happy that DSS has actually raised that as an alarm and tried to make sure that heightened security measures are actually going to put in place to ensure that thousands of people, which include foreign leaders and dignitaries, which are expected to attend that event, are not in any way put in harm's way. And then, of course, there must be a lot of both human intelligence, and then, of course, deploying other artificial intelligence to ensure that the entire process go hitch-free. But what you cannot rule out is that there might be a group of people who want to use that opportunity to put a spotlight on their grievances, and that in itself, if not properly managed, might break down, and then, of course, it might actually create some level of snag on the entire ceremony for that day.
Well, indeed, Salahuddin Hashim, security expert, thank you very much for your time and your contribution. With its sights on the 2030 date for the attainment of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals on good health and well-being, the Lagos State Government, alongside the Sustainable Development Goal Office in Nigeria, has commissioned a medical infrastructure project at the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital. The Lagos State Governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, who was represented by his deputy, Obafemi Hamzat, explained that the facilities had been provided in fulfillment of his administration's promises and commitment to the good people of Lagos State under the health and environment pillar of his administration's themes development agenda. Our correspondent, Tamilore Akinwunmi, has more details in this report.
This 120 by space building is one of the several infrastructural development projects undertaken by the Office of the Sustainable Development Goals. Situated within the premises of the Lagos State University Teaching Hospital, LASUT, the aim of this ultra-modern bed space is to strengthen the capacity of the healthcare system in the state.
We are here today at LASUT to celebrate the delivery of a modern medical infrastructure that will further strengthen the capacity of our healthcare system to meet the needs of our people. As you are aware, we are in Ikeja, which is in the Lagos West Senatorial District, and we planned this as part of the activities to usher in the second term tenure of our administration, which of course will commence on Monday, 29th of May. We are embarking on major delivery of infrastructures that will enhance the well-being, the quality of lives of our citizens.
Christian to the Sustainable Development Multipurpose Hall, the 120 bed space is fitted to serve clients beyond medical care, offering super executive private suite wards for individuals.
We have some wards, especially surgical and medical wards. We have private wards, which we feel that certain individuals may want to use for their privacy. Then we have super executive private wards. Now, this is the most exciting part of this building. Those super executive suites are like rooms at Marriott Hotel.
While lauding the effort of the management team of the hospital, the senior special assistant to the president on sustainable development goals, Adejoke Orelokwe Adefulire, says the Buhari administration never gave up on achieving the 2030 SDG goals.
We are here again in LASUT. Aside from many other projects all across Nigeria that we have implemented, this edifice stands out and will take care of all Nigerians living in Lagos. I'm aware that not only those people that live in Lagos are coming to receive treatment in LASUT. In fact, not only in Southwest, we have people coming from other parts of the country to receive treatment here. And that is the reason why we need to do this and many more for LASUT.
The government also commissioned the Faculty of Basic Clinical Services as well as approved the construction of the resident doctors' quarters, solving accommodation issues experienced by doctors during their clinical service. Tamilore Akinwunmi, TV 360 Nigeria.
We'll take a break here, but still to come on news now. UK PM Sunak vows to court immigration as UK figures hit new high. We'll bring you details of this story and more right after this break. Welcome back. Now here is a recap of some of our top stories tonight. President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Vice President-elect Kashim Shettima have been conferred with the Grand Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic and Grand Commander of the Order of the Niger, respectively. President Muhammadu Buhari also handed over transition documents to the President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We also told you that the Department of State Services said it is aware of plans by subversive elements to disrupt the inauguration of the next president and governors on May 29 across the country. Spokesman of the service, Peter Afinaya, in a statement on Thursday, said the aim is to undermine security agencies' efforts at ensuring peaceful ceremonies as well as creating panic and fear among members of the public. In case you missed any of our news bulletin, or for more updates, you can catch us on Limex World TV or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online. China is bracing for a new wave of COVID-19 infections that could see as many as 65 million cases per week by the time the surge peaks at the end of June. It's a startling prediction in a country that only months ago had enforced some of the harshest COVID control protocols on the planet. The surge comes about 6 months after Beijing dismantled its sprawling infrastructure for dealing with COVID, including harsh lockdowns, mass testing, stifling quarantines, and strict mask requirements. We'll take a short break and be back with more stories in business. To stay with us. Welcome back. Let's now join Simi Soladigun for the latest in the world of business. Simi, what's the latest?
Thank you very much, Folashade. Welcome to Business News. The latest is that for the first time since 2016, Nigeria's agricultural sector contracted by 0.90% in the first quarter of 2023, contributing to a decline in the overall GDP. Also, crop production, the largest subsector, grew by only 1.93%. The contraction in Nigeria's agricultural sector in Q1 2023 marks the first negative growth rate recorded in the sector since at least 2016. In an earlier interview with TV360 Nigeria, Muda Yusuf, the Chief Executive Officer at the Center for the Promotion of Private Enterprise, said the situation is worrisome.
For a very long time, we are having a first-time contraction of agricultural sector. For a long time, the agri sector had not contracted, actually since COVID. Even during COVID, I'm not sure it contracted. But for the first time in a few years, the agricultural sector contracted in Q1 2023. So it's a major concern that the economy is slowing so rapidly the way the figures have shown us. And it's also a reflection of some of the shocks that took place over the last few months, particularly, just as the NBS also said, the Naira redesign policy, which is essentially a cash mopping exercise. The exercise was essentially to mop up cash in the economy, not necessarily to redesign the currency. And that had a very, very serious negative impact on economic growth, on economic activities, on the welfare of the people, and on the performance of businesses, particularly the SMEs. So the Naira redesign policy, or the cash mopping up policy of the central bank, had a devastating effect in the first quarter of this year, and that is to a large extent what is manifesting in the slowing of GDP growth. Then, of course, we have electionary activities, which also brought some distraction to the economy. We have the lingering effects of insecurity. We had the fuel shortage issue during the period. So I think it's a combination of all of these factors that have led to the slowing down of GDP. But of course, the most devastating of all and the most disruptive of all was the Naira redesign policy.
Meanwhile, the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Godwin Emefiele, has assured that the Dangote refinery would be persuaded to sell foreign exchange earnings to banks at a good rate. He also expressed optimism that Dangote refinery, when fully functional in July, will address the scarcity of foreign exchange in the country. According to Emefiele, with local refining, about 20% of the total cost of importing petroleum products could be saved.
Doesn't have to be resorting to CBN for dollars. They can go to their banks, and Dangote will sell their banks those dollars, and we are going to ensure that it's done at good market rate. Because and what I didn't see that I would have loved to see on Monday was that the central bank, the government, the country has helped Dangote to set up that refinery. He's a Nigerian. Nigerians must benefit from that venture. And we are going to continue to be engaging him and talking to him. So I'm sure that being the richest man in Africa, I'm sure he's going to throw a few crumbs so that the price will be lower than you would expect normally.
Well, let's take a short break here and we'll return with stock market reports. Stay with us. Nigeria's equities market has recorded its first decline of the week, 2 days after the Central Bank of Nigeria reduced its monetary policy rate by 50 basis points to 18.5% to rein in inflation. Now, the 58 billion naira loss also led to a dip in the all-share index to 52,821 basis points. Thursday's 0.2% decrease is as a result of investors' profit taking on shares like Corn Oil PLC and Unilever Nigeria. Both equities topped the losers list, each one losing 43 and 14 naira respectively. Now, performance index shows that in 5,879 deals, investors exchanged 377 million volume of shares at over 9 billion naira. Now, let's turn our attention to our select foreign stocks. Only Japan's Nikkei was able to recoup its losses from previous trading session thanks to gains in the mining, chemical, petroleum and plastic and power sectors. Now, UK's FTSE and US Dow Jones, however, maintained their stay in the bears at 0.74% and 0.49%. Well, that's the stock market report. Back to you, Folashade.
Well, many thanks to Ms. Sula for that update in business. On the foreign scene, Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has described legal immigration levels into the UK as too high. Sunak said he believes the measures his government was taking to lower legal migration would bring the numbers down over time. This comes as net migration in the UK hit a record 606,000 in 2022, heaping pressure on the government, which has pledged to court dependency on foreign labour. Immigration has long been a key political issue in the UK and was one of the main battlegrounds of the Brexit referendum in 2016, which saw the country leave the European Union. Well, up next is Entertainment Reporter News Now.
Nollywood actress Akinwunmi Ambode has finally spoken on the allegations of owing her late colleague and director Mofi Afolabi the sum of 250,000 naira. Akinwunmi Ambode was on Sunday publicly called out by the burial committee of Mofi Afolabi during an 8-day fidal prayer of the late actor for being indebted to him, urging the screen diva to return the money. In response to their claims, Akinwunmi debunked the reports of being indebted to the late actor through a public statement accompanied by a screenshot of her debit transactions. According to the movie star, Mofi Afolabi had reached out to her for a job last year and had paid her the sum of 150,000 naira. However, she was unable to deliver the job due to the death of her brother and refunded the actor his money when he tried to make another agreement with her. Tina Turner, the trailblazing rocker, whose powerful voice and imposing stage presence thrilled global audiences for decades, has died on Wednesday at the age of 83 after a long illness in her home in Küsnacht near Zurich, Switzerland. The US-born star was one of the rock iconic singers known for electric stage presence and hits. Tributes has poured in from around the world, with some of the music biggest names lamenting the loss of a singular and instantly recognizable performer whose popularity spanned generations. That's it on the entertainment segment of News Now. Tamilore Akinwunmi, TV 360 Nigeria.
In sports, Lionel Messi has reacted to Jordi Alba's sudden announcement of his departure from Barcelona after 11 years at the Catalan club. The termination, which was announced on Wednesday, but Barcelona says that the La Liga champions had mutually reached an agreement to terminate Alba's contract. Messi, a long-time companion of Alba, described him as someone who is more than a teammate and also wished him well in his future endeavours. Alba will leave Barcelona at the end of the season and will be at Camp Nou on Sunday to say goodbye to the club's fans. And that's the size of our news bulletin. Many thanks for watching. I am Folashade Ogurinde. Bye for now.